Also joining me now from India Today's newsroom, my colleague Shiv Arur. Shiv, we've been listening to these different voices coming in from the ground. But here's what's more important. Israel's air bases, military bases on target, Mossad headquartered on target. In many ways, they decide how Israel goes ahead with this war. What are you picking up about what's unfolding there in Israel and after specifically these ballistic missiles charge?
Very image that we had last night of those huge barrages of missiles flying into Israel made one thing very clear, that while some of those missiles were most definitely going to be intercepted by Israel's very advanced air defense systems, like David's Sling, Iron Dome and Arrow, there was always going to be the possibility that many of these missiles would ultimately land and impact on their targets. Now, three major targets that we saw being mentioned by Iran and actually confirmed on the ground in Israel are three principal Israeli Air Force bases. These are the Nevatim base, the Hatzerim base and the Tel Nof base, which are basically three Air Force bases that house most of the Israeli Air Force's combat aircraft strength, including F-35 stealth fighters, F-15 strike fighters and F-16 air defense fighters. So these are the very aircraft that have actually been conducting the airstrikes, both in Gaza, in Yemen and now in Lebanon. And therefore, for Iran to be able to hit those air bases with any degree of accuracy sends out not just a symbolic message, but a physical message. Remember, it's important to note that at this point of time, while Iran is talking about inflicting a great deal of damage at these air bases, there is no confirmation yet from the ground that aircraft have actually been damaged. The Israeli government has said that a few people have been injured, but no extensive damage has been reported. But we should leave room for the possibility that there is a fog of war right now. Sometimes information can change, as the reality emerges a little better once there is more information from these air bases. But like you said, the fact that Israel has now reserved the right to respond directly to Iran at a time and place of its choosing, and the United States stepping in and saying that they have an ironclad support for Israel, the possibility of this spilling out into a wider conflict is very, very real. The region is on tenterhooks right now. What can that escalation from Israel's side actually be? What will be the end game on that? Because remember, it's complicated. An attack on Iran at this time we'll have to keep eyes on what's happening in Lebanon as well. The Hezbollah has been conducting ambush raids. Our reporter on the ground, Ashraf, has been talking about ambushes of Israeli soldiers in southern Lebanon now that the ground offensive has started. So it has become complicated. Israel's main concern will be not to get bogged down in a ground war at this point of time. So much more information expected in the hours ahead.
Thank you very much for that perspective, and I'll come back to you in just a short while with more developments, constantly updates coming in. But we do have one confirmation, which is the confirmed missile that has hit the territory, the ground in Israel. Where did that happen? From the visuals, from the report surfacing, look at that. It does look like that it was near Mossad headquarters and near a school. Also, there have been some hits that have come in. Now, remember, there are military bases in the area. These are right on the outskirts of Tel Aviv. And there are these different bases that we can confirm to you where the strikes, the missiles that have been able to hit the ground. Now, there is, of course, the dome system that has been able to interrupt most of the missiles coming in, but there are reports surfacing that we do not know yet about the damage, but there's definitely been hit. But amid all of this, therefore, remember, the world is watching. When you talk about 100 to 200 ballistic hypersonic missiles hitting another country, and with Iran openly declaring that it's happened, that means war. War that has been declared, announced by Iran, and they say they will go ahead with the jihad. The Revolutionary Guards of Iran had stated that the missile attack was in retaliation to the Hezbollah leader killing and that of the sort of aggression that Israel has shown. But amid all of this, Israel says this is self-defense. This is their moment to survive and tell Iran that all of this violence will not be accepted. Israeli Red Cross maintains that there hasn't been casualties because of missile attacks, though 2 people have received injuries because of the shrapnel, and that happened in Tel Aviv. So that's the latest coming in, and this is the aftermath, at least in some areas where the missiles did hit the ground. And remember, it was at a time when traffic was plying, but there were immediate sirens and alert messages that were sent to people to rush to bomb shelters. Now listen in now to one of the journalists. Amelie Botpol is reporting from Tel Aviv.
אנחנו נמצאים במוכנות גבוהה בהגנה ובהתקפה. אנחנו נגן על אזרחי מדינת ישראל. יהיו לירי הזה השלכות. יש לנו תוכניות, אנחנו נפעל במקום ובזמן שנחליט. שוב אני אומר, אנחנו בפני מלחמה רב זירתית, כבר מזה זמן רב, זה לא פעם ראשונה שיש ירי מאיראן. הירי הזה היה רחב יותר, בהיבט הטילים והמענה בהגנה נבנה בהתאם, וכמו שאנחנו רואים, מעט פגיעות ללא נפגעים בגלל ההתנהגות האחראית של הציבור וההקשבה להנחיות והפעלת מערכות ההגנה שלנו ופעילות גם של השותפים שלנו להגנה על אזרחי מדינת ישראל. אנחנו נמשיך להתנהל באופן הזה גם בהתקפה וגם בהגנה.
انتقام خون شهید مجاهد اسماعیل هنیه در تهران و نقض حاکمیت ملی جمهوری اسلامی ایران و همچنین شرارت‌های اخیر این رژیم جنایتکار در به شهادت رساندن فرماندهان و همچنین رهبر بزرگ حزب الله و مجاهد عظیم جناب سید حسن نصرالله و فرمانده رشید و شهید سپاه اسلام سردار سرلشکر پاسدار عباس نیلفروشان و همچنین در انتقام از خون کودکان مظلوم غزه و همچنین مردم مقاوم و مظلوم لبنان عملیات وعده صادق دو را.
What is the situation around you? Because till now it appeared that there were proxies of Iran, but Iran directly firing missiles. Tell us about the mood. What happened when you heard the sirens, when people were rushing to the bunkers?
Now, thank you. Obviously, let's go over the fact that this is the second direct attack on Israel from Iran. The first attack happened on April 13, April 14 on a Saturday night. Now, as it happened in April, we were informed that an attack was being prepared slightly before. We had information that we were going to be sent to bomb shelters. Passers-by on the street had enough time to go home and stay near bomb shelter as per notified by IDF spokesperson Daniel Hagari. Now, in April, when Israel was attacked by Iran in a similar direct attack, one victim, Bedouin Arab girl, was badly wounded by the interception. So far, we have no reports of any injuries as it stands. And as you can see behind me, life is coming back to Tel Aviv. Those are still the early hours of the morning, but we were expecting such an attack, and it was majoritarily thwarted by Israel's air defense and a coalition led by the United States. The attack was majorly and majoritarily condemned on the international scene. We are expecting a response. Yesterday, the Israeli cabinet convened to decide how and when they will respond. It remains unclear as it is, but there are still developments. There are still developments in the north right now. We are still getting rocket sirens over northern Israel, and we know that the IDF is responding to this aggression as we speak.
Yes.
We will know more throughout the day.
So remember, when we talk about more than 100 ballistic missiles at least means possibly to cause extensive damage, and yet we did not see the casualties in Israel. That's one of the reasons is the Iron Dome system, extremely sophisticated, that Israel has had now for several decades. This is an area defense, and this is designed to intercept about short-range rockets that intercepts artillery shells and that otherwise can endanger populated areas. But even while these missiles are coming in, to be able to track it, and look how Israel has been able to develop this system. The battery capabilities, with each battery a combination of missile launcher, It has a control station, radar that can defend up to 150 square kilometers, according to our information, and about the size of a medium-sized city in total when this system is. And that is the reason when, even though constantly these missiles were coming in and hitting Israeli territory, most of it was stopped midway because of this dome system.